You came home from work and your dog lost its mind. Not excited, not happy to see you, something closer to desperate. It jumped, it spun, it made sounds you'd never classify as barking. And then, 30 seconds later, it was completely calm, lying at your feet like nothing happened, like the last 8 hours didn't exist. You probably thought, that's just dogs, that's what they do. But in 2016, a team of researchers at Emory University put dogs into fMRI brain scanners, the same machines used to study human cognition, and watched what happened inside a dog's brain the moment it detected its owner's scent. What they found wasn't what anyone expected, because the brain region that lit up wasn't the one associated with familiarity, it wasn't recognition, it wasn't even affection in the way we understand it. It was the same region that activates in humans when they see someone they consider part of their own social species. Your dog wasn't reacting to you the way it reacts to another dog. It was reacting to you the way it reacts to something it has never fully been able to classify, something it loves completely, and something it has spent 15,000 years trying to figure out. Here's what most people get wrong about how their dog sees them. We assume dogs understand we're human, that they know we're a different species, that when they look up at us with those eyes, they're looking at a person and processing us the way we process each other. The science says something more complicated and far more interesting than that. Dogs have been living alongside humans for somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years, depending on which genetic study you trust. In that time, they haven't just adapted to us, they've developed an entirely separate cognitive system specifically for processing us, a system that doesn't exist for any other species on the planet, not even other dogs. Dr. Brian Hare at Duke University has spent over 2 decades studying dog cognition. His research, published across multiple journals including Science and Animal Cognition, found that dogs have developed what he calls a unique sensitivity to human social cues, a sensitivity that even our closest genetic relatives, chimpanzees, don't possess. A dog can follow a human's pointing gesture to find hidden food. A chimpanzee, with a brain 4 times more complex, cannot reliably do this. Your dog isn't processing you as a human, it's processing you as something it evolved an entirely separate brain system to understand. You are, neurologically speaking, your own category. Before your dog ever sees you, it knows you're there. And what it knows about you from your scent alone would take a human several minutes of conversation to communicate. A dog's nose contains approximately 300 million olfactory receptors. Humans have 6 million. The part of a dog's brain devoted to analyzing smell is, proportionally, 40 times larger than the equivalent human brain region. When your dog smells you, it's not registering a general impression. It's reading a detailed biological profile, your emotional state, your stress levels, what you ate, whether you're healthy, whether something changed since this morning. In 2015, neuroscientist Gregory Burns and his team at Emory University published a study in the journal Behavioral Processes. They placed 12 dogs in an fMRI scanner and exposed each one to 5 different scents: their own, a familiar dog, a stranger human, and a familiar human. The familiar human scent produced the strongest activation in the caudate nucleus, the brain region associated with reward and positive anticipation. Stronger than food, stronger than other dogs, your scent to your dog's brain functions the way a loved one's face functions to yours. It activates the anticipation of something good before anything has even happened. But here's the part that changes the picture. Researchers tracking which scent produced the strongest caudate response found something they didn't expect. The familiar human scent outperformed every other category, including the dog's own scent. Your dog's brain responds to the smell of you more strongly than it responds to the smell of itself. Spend enough time around dogs and you'll notice they watch your face constantly, not the way another dog watches a face, scanning for threat signals or dominance cues. Dogs watch human faces the way humans watch human faces. They're looking for emotional information, and the research on how well they read it is genuinely surprising. In 2015, a study published in Current Biology by Ludwig Huber and his team at the University of Vienna trained dogs to touch a touchscreen with their nose to identify happy versus angry human faces. Then they tested whether dogs could transfer that learning to the lower half of faces they'd never seen before and to faces shown from an unfamiliar angle. They could. Dogs weren't matching patterns. They were reading emotional expressions as a category, the same way humans do. A separate study from the same year, published in Science by Attila Andix and colleagues at József University in Hungary, put dogs in an fMRI scanner and played them recordings of human and dog vocalizations, laughter, crying, whining, barking. Dogs processed human emotional sounds in the same brain region that humans use to process emotional sounds, the temporal pole. A region associated with social cognition, responded similarly in dogs and humans when processing the emotional content of another species' voice. Your dog doesn't just hear the sound of your voice, it processes the emotional content of what you're saying in a brain region that is functionally equivalent to the one you use to understand emotion in language. It built that brain region for you specifically. No other animal on the planet has done this. In developmental psychology, there's a concept called secure base behavior. It describes the way a young child uses a parent as a reference point when exploring an unfamiliar environment, checking back, making eye contact, returning before moving further away. It was considered a defining feature of the human attachment system, something unique to primates, something that required a level of social cognition that animals weren't thought to possess. Then researchers started watching dogs. In 2013, a study published in PLOS One by Therese Wren and Linda Keeling at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences observed dogs in a room with 3 conditions: their owner present, a stranger present, or no one present. Dogs in the owner present condition showed classic secure base behavior. They explored more, they returned to check in more frequently, they were calmer when startled. Dogs in the stranger present condition showed almost none of this. The stranger's presence provided no secure base function at all. A 2014 follow-up study by Horn, Huber, and Range, published in PLOS One, tested whether dogs would try harder to solve a problem when their owner was present versus a stranger. Not only did dogs perform better with their owner present, when the task was made unsolvable, dogs in the owner present condition looked to their owner significantly more often. They were doing exactly what a child does when it can't figure something out. They were asking for help from the specific person they trust. Your dog doesn't just like you more than it likes strangers. It has built an attachment system around you that is functionally identical to the one human children build around their caregivers. The word for what your dog has done is not loyalty. The word is attachment, and the research suggests it runs just as deep. So here's the question the research keeps circling back to without fully answering. If your dog has a separate cognitive system for processing you, if it reads your face, tracks your emotional state, builds an attachment system around you, and responds to your scent more strongly than its own, what category does it actually put you in? Not human. Dogs that are raised only around humans and then introduced to other dogs for the first time don't seem confused by them. They recognize other dogs as dogs. They have a category for dog, they have a category for human, and based on how they behave around each, those categories are not the same. In 2015, Dr. Peter Pongratz at Eötvös Loránd University published research examining how dogs respond to human infants compared to adult humans. Dogs showed different behavioral responses to infants, more cautious, more gentle, with modified play behavior, suggesting they were processing infants as a subcategory distinct from adults. Your dog isn't applying a single human category uniformly. It's running something closer to a social taxonomy, distinguishing between types of humans and adjusting behavior accordingly. What the research collectively suggests is this: Your dog has a category that contains one entry, you. Not humans in general, not people who smell familiar, the specific person around whom its entire attachment system has been organized. When your dog looks at you, really looks at you, it's not seeing a human the way you'd see another human. It's seeing something its brain spent years building a dedicated response to, something it evolved across 15,000 years to love in a way that is, neurologically, completely its own. The next time your dog follows you from room to room or positions itself facing the door at the exact time you usually come home or puts its head in your lap without being invited, it's not doing what dogs do. It's doing what this specific dog, with this specific brain, built around this specific person does. The science doesn't make that smaller, it makes it considerably larger. Your dog doesn't think you're human. It thinks you're something better than that, something worth building an entire cognitive system around, something its nervous system has been calibrated against for years until the two of you are in some measurable neurological sense synchronized. If this changed how you see that dog waiting by the door, subscribe, drop a comment below. Does your dog do something that always seems strange until right now? Because next time, we're going somewhere completely different, and the science behind it is stranger than you'd expect.